Okay, welcome to the afternoon session. Can I just say what a stimulating conference this has been so far? I want to thank you all for taking part in it while I'm sharing something. I have the great pleasure for this session, I'm doing the first half of the session, of welcoming two pre-existing friends of the Cruise Project. Firstly, we have Dr. Christian Prager, who works at the University of Bonn on the anthropology of religion and on the iconography and writing of Mesoamerica. And he's going to speak to us on visual iconographic dimension of Maya hieroglyphic writing, meanings beyond the surface.
Thank you very much, Pippa. Thanks very much for the kind invitation to this great party, I must say. And here in the dust you can see writing. It's Maya writing. It's a real writing that expresses spoken language. And here I just want to give you some short introduction. Why I have chosen this topic here. We are at the University of Bonn. We have a project called Textdatenbank und Wörterbuch des Klassischen Maya, text database and dictionary of Classic Mayan. It's the Academy of Science funded project for 15 plus years, and we started 4 years ago. And it's a digital humanities project, meaning that we're making all the Maya inscriptions machine readable with XML-TI. Most of you will know this method, how to transcribe and transliterate hieroglyphs or cuneiform with XML-TI. And during that process, when we were writing the XML schema for Maya hieroglyphic writing, we noticed some things that could be interesting for you, especially when you have the opportunity to do a formal description of the hieroglyphic inscriptions and a linguistic or semantic description with the help of TI. And I'm starting right now. This is more or less the situation that we had before we had the project. It's you see here it's a depiction, a 3D scan of a Maya Stila from La Amelia, and you see here we also do 3D scans of Maya monuments as part of our project. That's the reason we met 3 years ago. Yeah. We were here and did some 3D scannings of plaster casts in the Museum of Archaeology, and this one we did some 2 years ago. And you see here Maya Stila, a dancing ruler, dancing on a jaguar like this, and you see here some fields here. Oh, there it is. Here's man dancing here. There's a text field. Here's a text field, and here's a text field. And what we did so far in the Maya epigraphic studies is just reading hieroglyphs and understanding the history and the persons and everything that is behind this. But we want to go a step further, just want to learn why did they arrange things like this? Why is this text field here? Why is this text field has this shape? And why is the difference with this one here? As you can see here, we can read 100% of the hieroglyphic text. And it says here, for example, that he is represented with the perforation on the hieroglyphic step. This is the sign for Yebu. Yebu meaning he's doing this perforation on this hieroglyphic text. It's historic information. It starts with a it starts with the calendar date, and let's see whether it goes on. Oh yes, and as this is not this one is not the interesting point I'm going to explain today, the content and the meaning of the inscriptions. I'm more or less interested now in the arrangement of the hieroglyphic text and a hidden message behind the arrangements. Let's have a closer look at this one here. When you see the inscription, you see here there's a finely incised hieroglyphic inscription on the top. There's a elevated or raised text field here. And here's a sunken text field that goes into the monument. And you find this kind of text field in various ways in many other inscriptions. Raised text fields, sunken text fields, arranged in some angles here. And today I'm going to talk about this phenomenon and to explain why did they arrange this hieroglyphic inscription that way. So it's a question of style of writing, the types of layout, form and position of the text field, the sizes of the graphs, something we have to discuss. I've seen many examples now where you have different sizes of hieroglyphs, of signs, of letters and so on, and this may be something meaningful that could be interesting for you too. So this is the thing that I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk about style and layout, the size, and the color of hieroglyphs. They also did some colorations of the signs which were meaningful and so on. But as an example, I'm going to choose this Stila here. This Stila was founded in the 1930s by the Penn State University. And here you see Alton Mason, one of the directors, standing next to the Stila. You see the size about 3 meters something. And it was originally found in structure 013 in the site of Queras Negras. And Philip today mentioned that it's important to do a networking of text and context and codex even. So here, this is part of our database. We have a RDF XML triple store database which connects all the archaeological, epigraphic, and textual information into one system. But this is not the topic today. So we document the position of the original monument. You see here, this is Stila 12. It was dedicated in 795, and it was dedicated by a ruler called Ruler 7. We can't read his name at the moment. There's another monument, 782 and 785. This is, so to say, the context of this monument, which is the latest erection here. And the monument looks like this. This is a drawing by David Stewart. It has a front, it has a right side, and a left side. And I give you some key dates here. As you can see, the name is Stila 12. It commemorates Ruler 7's or Yad Ark's victories over Pomaná in 792 and 794, which he achieved with his vassals Bakab from neighboring Lamar. And this vessel is depicted here. So this is the guy who helped him to defeat another king. And you see here some of the dates. The inscription mentions the birth at 750, that's the exact date. The cool thing with my inscription is that we have a day exact calendar system, meaning that we can say that a monument was erected on a specific day. And a war is mentioned, there's a second war mentioned. Then we have the 46th birth anniversary. And lastly, the last date of the monument is the erection of the Stila. And this is all contained in here. And here's some epigraphy that I can show you that we can read almost everything. It's on the right side. This part of it, I'm going just to say this part of the inscription. And it starts here with Utiyah kun Chavuk. It happened on the day 1 Kawak, 12.
This really doesn't work on the white surface.
It gets eaten, yeah. So
it's non-reflective.
Yeah, I'm going to change the position here. So you see here it starts with a verb, and it's followed. They were captured Tenipku, Kinahau, Kuul Tok, and they are their 3 individuals, gods. They were the lords of fire, the gods of fire, of a king from Santa Elena. This is the site that was, or the neighboring site that was defeated in this warfare. And here it says that this action was done under the authorship of Ruler 7. His name appears here. And then we got this so-called distance numbers leading from the first day to the next one. And here, for example, you can read here that it terminated the 36th year since the birth of Yad Ark. And to give you a short introduction here, in capitals we have logographs. In this spelling here we have syllables. And for example here, wa, wan meaning that this is a phonetic complement to this logograph here in order to explain that the reading of the sign is 1. And so it's a glottographic writing system consisting of about 800 to 1,000 signs. And we have got syllables, we got logographs, and get 2 diacritics, not more. So we are quite happy with that. And we can read about 80%, 70-80% of the signs. 30% cannot be read or are just question marks. For this, we introduced some numeric nomenclature to refer to these things. Before I continue, I just have to explain to you that reading a Maya inscription is an act of walking. Because the text always starts on the right side of a monument. This is another 3D scan we did here from the cast in Cambridge. They are in the storage. We put them together here. And the text starts here with the calendar date. Start right here, top to bottom. It's like this one here. You start here on this side, you read down, go down up here. Then you go to the front. You look up and you continue the text reading over there. So such large monuments, reading is not just moving the head, it's walking the body around the monument, which many of monuments, you surely know from your cultural context, or from your work of field of work, that you also always have to move your body towards a monument, back, that you can read it. And this is something that we have to keep in mind about some functionalities of writing. So in order to read the text, you start here, move here, and you continue on the other side here. This is the same with this monument here. Because the text starts here, it's eroded, you go down here, you walk down here, blah, 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 blah. And at the very end, this is the name of ruler 7, who is depicted over there. And then what are you doing? You're just standing in front of the monument, or you go down, you see the name of the king on the very least, lift your head, you see the king, move around, and the text continues. So there's there's a connection between monument, text, and image. So this is one of the writing games the Classic Mayan introduced and used very often. So you read down here, this is the thing. This is something you have to, I'm not going to discuss further, but this is one of the features of it's really a writing game according to Wittgensteinian things that you want to introduce here. And they are always visualizing, hierarchies are visualized on this monument. Without the colors, you got this one here. On the top, you got the king that is named and depicted here. And I colored him red. And next to him are 2 allied bakab. This is a specific title for a subordinate ruler who is attributed to the king, who helped the king to defeat the neighbor. And you get here in the center, this is the defeated vassal of the Pomonar king bowing. It's not the Pomonar king himself that has been defeated, it's a representative of him that is just giving, that is bowing to the king here. And he still got his ornate here. You see his headdress, he still got his nice texture or the fabrics here, which is the different things on this level here. Here is almost a mass or a bundle of people. I think they are naked. Their hair has been bound up. This hair is still nicely within the headdress, and you got here this bunch of people connected to each other with a string here, and you really see that they were defeated persons. And this is the hierarchy represented through the visual narrative here. And in between, you see here, there are some tiny hieroglyphic blocks, text fields here that are on the body. This one is not on the body. This is just over next to the person, and so on. You see here, you got here in green, there are signatures of the artists. And in red or blue are name tags of the people depicted. But one can now notice that the king's name is not appearing here. No, because everybody knew this king is depicted here, and anyway, his name glyph is on the end of the text. So in between I'm now interested in working on this one here. I give you the exemplary transliteration here. This is the guy who helped the king to defeat this neighboring thing. He's got a personal name. He's got here a title saying that he's one of captives. He's a lord of Petun, which is a site south of Petros Negras Lamar, and he is also he's got a land title here, first of land. And you see here this text field is sunken into the relief. And the king, the guy who got defeated, has also a sunken text field here, and he's a Sahal. This is a provincial lord, subordinate to the defeated king. And you can see here some of the hieroglyphs we cannot read. This one is not readable, but we know this is a personal name. And now to the bunch of people here who got blood in their face, for example, here, or they've lost their earrings and so they're ornate, and they got name glyphs. Here it says that Jokpitzil is a provincial lord. Saksutz is white bat. It's a provincial lord. Here, his names, and you see here, their name glyphs are in front of the face. They're written on the front of the face and not on the body. And in the hierarchy, we are still above the group of people here. And now comes about the people who are depicted at the lowest level of the monument are called the artists. Why do we know this? Because it's written here, Ach Utzil, Sort. Utz means nice, good, and Sort is a musician. So we know that this guy here is a musician, and you can see here he's got blood on the face, so he was beaten. And the same is with this one here. Tubnach is the name, and he was the chief painter of the defeated king. So when they arranged the war against this neighboring site, they took all the artists and captured this because they preventing the king to create new monuments. So this was one of the very important things. And you see here, now the hieroglyphs are being painted on the leg or on the shoulder. Very different from the level above. And also here, the artist is present. And you see here that there are two different signatures from the artists: intaglio, sunken text fields, and incised on the surface. So we have a bunch of artists that were creating this monument here, but in a different style. They could give their signature on the monument. One incising on the surface, one creating a text field sunken, so it's a more precious appearance of this guy. This is not unique. This is a lintel from Yashchilan, the site of Yashchilan, and you see here the signature of the scribe is written here. It's a sunken text field, but the main text field referring to the king is this raised text field. This is the thing that matters here in this moment. And this text field says that the carving of the monument was created on this date. So we come to style and layout. Let's go back to the monument. You got here on the lowest level, it's the Bakab who helped the king to defeat the king. He's got an intaglio text field. This defeated lord from the has also a text field because he's still got an important figure, a player of that. But this one is less important because it's in the hierarchy a little bit lower, and the lowest thing is these group of artists who were taken away from the king. So it's incised on the body, incised on the front of the face, and in intaglio. So we can see this here. We got the king with no name glyphs. I come to this later. And here is the high-ranking member of the royal court, allied provincial leaders, and so on. And within this area, all the signatures of the scribes and sculptors are arranged in this level here. Why not here? Because no one wants to be associated with a defeated person. With just no. So the artist's signature, the logos, is about this level here, and they are incised. This signature is in a sunken text field, and here is the area of the text fields, and on the lower level you got here incised hieroglyphic inscription for the artists. So this is meaningful. It's representing a social hierarchy expressed in the iconography. You find this in other inscriptions. This is not unique. This is our example from Stila 12. This is monument 122. This is a very important king of the side of Palenque, who still got his own text field. He still got his on it, but he was defeated. His text field is on his leg. This text field of a lord from Dos Caobas, the history of the war against him is written on his body. The same is here. This is from Yaxchilan Hieroglyphics Style 3. So it's a pattern, and also finely incised, not in a text field. What's the meaning behind this? This I can only explain it this way. We got some inscriptions or paintings with objects and glosses. This says, for example, in this containers here there are beans. In this sack here, there are 40,000 beans of cacao. Here, this is a ball. The captive is becoming a ball in a ball game. There's a so-called name tag of this ball, and here you got here a pot saying Maya. There's tobacco in it. What's happening here is that the people who are wearing their name glyphs on their body becoming things. They're losing their individuality. This is a sign of becoming, changing, transforming from a human being to a thing. This is exactly happening here. You got many examples of this, and this is the code of placing hieroglyphic text on specific objects. You see here, or even you're stepping on history and captives. This is the image this is the same guy here from the drawing. And this is a hieroglyphic stairway from Temple 32, and it says it's the history of the war against this. And people who are walking onto him, when they are visiting the temple, they are walking on the history and the defeat. They are every time you are walking in this temple, you are defeating this guy by stepping on his face. That's the reason why you got many hieroglyphic stairways with war reports about that. And so textile marking status, yes, I would say. We have here different statuses expressed through this intaglio. We got here intaglio in front of the thing, because individual is usually, as the name of individuals are usually associated with the body or with the face or the head of a person. The same works here. This is a nice lintel in the Kimball Art Museum, and you see here it consists of a raised text field with narrative with the name of the captor, and here the king is sitting on his own hieroglyphs, on his name. So it's sitting here, and also the size of the hieroglyphs do vary. The narrative has this size. The name of the king is larger, the font size is larger, and the sunken text field with the scribe and captive smaller. And the name of the kings are usually written a part of a headdress, or some hieroglyphs are in a headdress included. This is the typical way to name kings in iconography. Please have a glyph seat here. This is another example, kings from Copan sitting on the name glyphs. And here, the same happens here in this Kimball art size. And now let's have a closer sight. King and members of the royal lineage have a large size font. Here, the allied provincial leader is a smaller font. And here, this one is subordinates are using the smaller things. The same works here with this inscription here. The narrative mentioning the king is largest. The name of the provincial leader to the king, this one here is smaller. And again, the size is here. The same works here. It's a pattern. It's a pattern of stating the status of an individual by the position of the text field and the size of the text field. Also, the size of the text field could also mark the importance of text portions. This is a recently published historic text, and it contains a huge calendar section, some astronomy, historical narrative, and a parentage statement. Here we got the size of the hieroglyphs. The calendar thing is the largest one. Parentage is a little smaller. And now history is less important, but mentioning the mother and father's name is more important than the history. It's a referential thing. And now to the next topic. 5 minutes. Yeah. To the size and color of the hieroglyphic inscriptions. If we would use Maya styles and fonts in order to write this text here, on the day 2 million, so on and so on, it's Thursday, it's the Holy Mathilda, today, it's the first quarter of the moon, it's March 14, and then the font becomes larger. In many Maya inscriptions that are painted have the day information in red. This is a pattern. And you see here, this is the information on days and so on. This is, when we will be using a Maya font, we would write it that way. And yeah, we have this here. How big is the time? The time is big. The time has a big time. It's a huge font. Many inscriptions start with a huge hieroglyphic font size. All the calendar information is the most important thing because it's history, and history is connected to time. And here there's some pattern here. The time is always the most important thing. Huge hieroglyphs associated with time. Also here the date, this is history, and the specific day that was important is huge in this size here. And now comes the color. We don't have too much colored hieroglyphs on monuments because it's the nature of the thing. They got into the earth and used their colors. We got some here at Tonina. But the nice thing is now that we have colorations in the calendar. So this is the red part of the calendar hieroglyphs, huge hieroglyphs here again, that are painted red. And all day-related information is painted always red. We don't know yet why this is pattern, but why they painted it red. We don't know yet, but it's a pattern that we can observe. You see here, day information, day information, day information, day information. It's like jumping from one event to the next event, so that you have it's a visual. At the moment for us, it's a visual marker to jump in the text, just to see the beginning of a new paragraph. This is the same here. These are red things are always day names. They were the most important thing because a day had a specific quality and quantity, a bad quality. This specific day had a good quality and so on. And this last slide here, this is a feature, the coloration of hieroglyphs, starts in the 4th century BC and ends with the arrival of the Spaniards. So the red painting, daglyphs red, is a pattern that existed for almost 2,000 years and never changed. The thing is, we don't know why they have chosen red, but it's a pattern, and that these things, the layout, the size of the font, and the color it's difficult to describe. It's a mix. It's in between the text and image. It's not image really. It's not part of the text. It's something that we have to reconsider in the study of writing. How can we take this feature as maybe you find it in your own writing systems that you're working on, the sizes and so on. Maybe this is something we can talk and hopefully read about in the near future. And I think I can stop now because it's the last slide. Yeah.
Thank you for a very illuminating